a week, and I'm back again with another video. Um, Last week was a rebroadcast of a video I had done previously. It was Labor Day weekend. The previous weekend, I had Monday off and short on time, so decided to share a video that I had previously recorded, and hope that you all found it useful. If you haven't seen it before, or if you have seen it before, it was a good refresher for you. But anyways, I'm back again this week doing another video about my experiments with my CGM. And um, I thought the previous video I had done was actually going to be my last video I was going to do on the CGM experiments, but the Levels Health team sent out a new interest, and they had suggested taking using apple or seeing if apple cider vinegar would blunt a glucose response to a meal. Not something I ever tried before, so I figured, well, let me give it a go. Obviously, when you're performing these types of experiments, you want to do them relatively the same across different experiments, right? So you want to have the same quality sleep. You want to do it after the same type of workout. You want to, or not working out. You want to obviously eat the same types of meals or foods. Your stress should be relatively the same. Of course, trying to replicate things perfectly every time. Obviously, time of day that you eat the meal also make a difference. But trying to replicate things perfectly every time is nearly impossible for the average person. But trying to replicate the environment in which you perform the experiments is important, especially when it comes to blood sugar. So um, what I did was I decided to pick a meal that I have a pretty decent spike to, right? For me, that tends to be oatmeal post-workout. So I'll have some oatmeal, some honey, and some berries, and that's around 80 grams of carbohydrates or so. And that gives me a pretty decent spike most of the time. It's just a spike up to in the 130s usually, and it's only there for a few minutes and comes right back down to baseline. So it's not anything I'm terribly alarmed about, but it is one of the meals that elicits probably the worst response for me, or one of the worst response for me that I eat on average. Not that I'm concerned about it or anything, but it's just one that caused a nice spike, so I can get some useful data out of. And so I decided last week, after I did one of my strength training workouts, I was going to have the oatmeal. That was going to be my baseline test, so I did it without the apple cider vinegar. And then a few days later, after I did a similar but slightly different strength training workout, actually, I found the one that I did the second time is actually probably less intense in terms of workout than the first one. But anyways, um, I did the experiment again, ate the same meal, but this time I added I had the apple cider vinegar. So basically, you take 8 ounces of water, you mix in 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and you drink that while you're consuming the meal that you're testing. So I did that and drank the apple cider vinegar while I was eating my oatmeal. And to my surprise, it actually did make a little bit of a difference. So I can show you this on the app here. So if I share my screen, there we go. So this is comparing the two meals, one with the apple cider vinegar, the other without the apple cider vinegar. And these are relative numbers, so that's why they both start at 0. The green line is the one without the apple cider vinegar. So you can see the peak is higher and it stays elevated for slightly longer, a few minutes there, 20 minutes or so before it drops back down. Again, that's without the apple cider vinegar, and that's the green line. And then the white line is the same meal, but with the oatmeal with the apple cider vinegar instead. And so you can see there that the peak is a little bit lower in intensity, and also has a nice pointy top to it, so it came back down immediately after. If you want to see the absolute numbers here, you can see the absolute numbers. So without the apple cider vinegar, I started at 90 and peaked up just below 150. And then with the apple cider vinegar, I started a little bit lower down, probably around 80 or so. You can see, you can't see, it doesn't show you there, but a little bit lower down, 80, 85 probably, and got up to maybe 125, 130 or so. Much smoother curve down as well, not as big of a drop. So it did make somewhat of a difference. And I repeated this again today, again. And again, I saw a similar um, spike here and up into the 120s, 130s with the apple cider vinegar, as opposed to without the apple cider vinegar. Like I said, usually in the 130s. This day that I originally did it on was a little bit higher, in the 140s there. But yeah, it did seem to make a difference to me. So it's one of the few quote unquote glucose hacks outside of walking that I've seen make a difference. So for myself, anyways. And again, that could just be because my blood sugars are not terribly high to begin with whenever I eat something. So it's not, maybe that's part of the reason why I don't necessarily see huge differences whenever I do some of these hacks that I've talked about before. But the apple cider vinegar one does seem to work for me at least. So if it's something you're concerned about or want to try yourself, I'd suggest give that one a try. It's pretty easy. Like I said, just 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Mix in 8 ounces of water and just consume the meal that you're going to test and see how it goes. Is it the most tasty thing ever? No. Apple cider vinegar is not the most tasty thing ever. I mean, it's fine to drink it, but it's not like the most enjoyable thing to drink. And I'm not sure that I would just do it on the regular, but it's like if you know that you're going to consume something that's probably going to spike your blood sugar pretty well for you, or you're going to consume something, you're knowingly going to consume something that does that for you, and you happen to have some apple cider vinegar around, maybe it's worth just having that while you're eating the meal and go ahead and doing that. Would I stress about it and go out of my way to incorporate it? If you're otherwise healthy, probably not. I'm not gonna stress about it. Um, there are apple cider vinegar pills you can take as opposed to drinking it, which um, that's another something option to play with. It might be easier to transport around, etc. Has its advantages. I don't know about how quickly or slowly that might digest compared to drinking it. I would imagine maybe it digests a little bit slower. It's not, it has to dissolve the pill before it gets into your digestive tract, whereas you're drinking it, it's immediately there. I don't really know. Maybe it's just good. The other thing is you can't like drink it slowly unless it's time release. I don't really know how the pills work, right? Because I consumed the 8 ounces of water with the apple cider vinegar in it while I was consuming the oatmeal. So it was kind of, I was just kind of a slow release of it into my digestive system. I don't know if it makes a difference if you do it all at once beforehand or afterwards, or just following the instructions from the email. So those are all variables that I'm unsure of. So they might play a role. So just be mindful of that. I don't really know how the pills would work. They might be more convenient. They might not show as good a response. They might be better. I don't really know. But all cool things to play around with. These things are endlessly fun to experiment with. At least I think they are. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there as a nice little suggestion for modulating your blood sugar response to a meal. Is just some apple cider vinegar and some water. And most times, most people have that lying around. If not, it's relatively cheap at the store. It's not terribly expensive, and a useful tool. But still, I think that if you can just add some muscle to your body and move your body a lot, that's going to be your best bet, no matter what, for long-term health. So keep that in mind as well. But that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed that little tip. I think that's probably going to be my last one. Maybe not. Who knows? I don't know. I might come up with something else on the blood sugar stuff. If you have other things that you want me to try or experiment with, please let me know. Or you're wondering, about the CGM, please let me know. Happy to create another video on the topic if people are interested. Leave a note in the comments below on the video and let me know, or you can shoot me a direct message or whatever. If you want to keep up with all the content that I put out on a weekly basis, please sign up for my newsletter. You can do that at rjbhealth.coach. Click the newsletter link at the top, enter your email address, and you can jump on the newsletter and get all the content that I put out on a weekly basis emailed to you rather than stalking me on social media. If you're interested in health coaching, I do have a wait list going at the moment. So kind of full clients. So please, if you're interested, I'm happy to hear from you and put you on the wait list. Go to rjbhealth.coach and click the schedule discovery call button on the homepage there, right on the homepage, and you can fill out the form there, and I will definitely add you to the wait list. Maybe jump on a Zoom call with you for 30 minutes just to talk about, get to know you a little bit better before I do that. And then when I do have a spot open up, which could be relatively soon, we don't know. But if I do have a spot open up, we can talk more about that at a later date. And that's all I got for you this week. I hope everyone has a good weekend, and I'll talk to you all next week.